Yo, what's up guys? This is Rise and welcome to another video. Today we're showcasing a team similar to the team I hit #1 in the world with, featuring Azumarill and Shadow Drapion core, but this time we're switching it up from the bulky, boring, you may say, Mandibuzz to Shadow Pidgeot. No offense, Mandibuzz, you're still one of my faves. I'm just talking about the haters. Shadow Pidgeot, though, seems to be a bit of a fan favorite. Pidgeot, one of the OGs from the Kanto region, used to run Wing Attack, now running Gust, which is similar to Confusion as a fast attack, a 4-turn fast attack, a little bit slower, but does a lot of damage and can provide you with situations where you farm things down and can make Pidgeot a really dangerous sweeper. We went on a pretty crazy run with Pidgeot, and you are going to see this thing in action. Pidgeotto. Pidgeot, the granddaddy of the like the regular bird flying Pokemon, has made his mark, and now we are going to get things started here. So all three of these Pokemon have play against Malamar, which we're going to see here in the first game in the lead. Malamar's super common these days, and we are going to respect the potential superpower here, which does get correctly shielded. They are going to stay in, which kind of surprises me. Gonna debuff themselves and then still allow me to land a Crunch. And then they swap into Dunsparce. So we don't have an obvious answer to Dunsparce. What I typically do is chip and dip, hit it with the Drapion before going into Azumarill, helping it secure this matchup. If I was to just go instantly into Azumarill, that would provide Dunsparce with an ability to flip the alignment, which we don't necessarily want. This also allows us to keep the Drapion around for later, which could potentially be useful. Azumarill going to withstand multiple drill runs here. I'm keeping a little bit extra energy, which could be useful depending on what comes in the back. Play Rough going to knock out, and it's actually a Toxapex, which I should have probably expected considering it was a Malamar lead. That is a common pairing. We're going to Play Rough and look to get out of here as soon as possible, not to give them extra farm. I come in with Drapion, and I figure I can withstand this brine, and I kind of want to leave my shield for the Pidgeot. So I actually am going to throw the Crunch here, and I believe they don't decide to catch. They take the Crunch onto Toxapex, and we're going to wait out our full switch timer before coming in with Pidgeot. Pidgeot's going to come in. Malamar is potentially going to reach another attack. We're trying to keep that in mind. So they actually did not build up the Sludge Wave. I was on point with my counts here. This was one short of the Sludge Wave, so I knew I didn't need to shield. They do get to a second Brine, however, but what I can do now is I have the Feather Dance loaded. This is a charge attack priority, and now the attack from the Malamar, yeah, they're forced to shield, but they don't shield, because if they shield, then they're not going to be able to take out the Azumarill once they are debuffed. If they weren't debuffed, maybe they still could have taken out the Azumarill, but no, Azu was too healthy there. So a nice little game one to get things rolling, and it's on to the next one. Shadow Pidgeot was awfully fun. By the way, in the comments section, let me know if you guys have any fun Great League teams you want me to try out. I've received some really cool submissions the past couple days, so keep on the lookout for some cool videos coming these next couple days. Wigglytuff with a bow. Good lead here for Drapion. We're going to overfarm a little bit. Throw after 7. So Wigglytuff currently is 1 off the Swift, so we can do 1 in throw before the Swift. And they should like potentially barely live this, but they're going to put up the shield instead. And you know, Wigglytuff teams might be very alignment heavy, so we actually are going to invest the shield here to try and win this alignment. And this way we either are going to take a shield advantage or get the switch advantage. Wigglytuff is going to put up that protect shield, so they are going to win the alignment, which is scary. And I'm going to go for a Bubble Down with a Azumarill. Bubble Down for Azu, hoping they don't have a hard check. Let's see what's going to come in to greet Azumarill. It's going to be Lickitung. Okay, you don't see Lickitung too often these days. So this kind of caught me off guard. I built up a bunch of energy and then went into Pidgeot, and there is a Shadow Obstagoon in the back. What the heck, dude? Lickitung and Shadow Obstagoon. And now here I'm thinking, what do I do? Brave Bird would not be the smart move here. So I actually Feather Dance. The reason is this is going to allow me to come out with energy, and I'm still not within range of one Body Slam, I believe. Versus if I was to Brave Bird, I would knock out the Goon, I would have less energy, and then I would get knocked out by Lickitung. Now, I come out with this energy, Body Slam doesn't knock out, and I get off a Brave Bird, which is going to secure me this win. Still wasn't quite in Power Whip range, I don't believe. It's been a while, right? Since used to play like the Azu Lickitung matchup all the time, but now it's like been so long, it's like, wait, that's not Power Whip range, is it? You kind of forget. I think Azu would have been able to hang on to a Power Whip there, but we had so much energy, and we take the win. Battle number 3. We're playing Callan 46. Yikes. Shadow Golem, this is not good. We're going to pivot straight into Azu, met by Drapion. Okay, not the worst. Not the worst in the world here. We are going to go directly for the Play Rough. The reason I'm going for Play Rough here is I figured with something like a Shadow Golem, something really glassy, he might be less likely to commit Protect Shields. If we get shields down, that could actually set up our Drapion against the Golem. Drapion going to keep firing off attacks here. Another Crunch. And you know what? Maybe I should have invested a shield here and bubbled down. Maybe to get Pidgeot aligned with Golurk would have been better, but instead I figured I could live the Aqua Tail and then go for shield advantage or switch advantage. And he gives me the switch advantage, but it's a Dugong, and Dugong does kind of core break this team, especially with that 2 Ice Shard head start. This is not ideal. So this Dugong is a real menace to our situation right here. I'm going to overfarm, so this way if he decided to like swap, I could have energy to threaten. We build up 1 to the... And he doesn't want to throw in bad timing, so he actually lets me throw another Crunch here. And since we got the debuff, we're able to get that off. And I make a mistake here. I make a mistake. At this point, I should have just let it go. I should have just let the Drapion go, but for some reason I shielded because I like was thinking I couldn't gust down. But if you look at the remaining health of that Dugong, I think I probably could have just gusted it down in the end because I think it was still like 3 Ice Shards away. And I think 2 gusts probably would have knocked out the Dugong. So in the moment, I like didn't even think about it. I like just instantly shielded. But I think, do you think 2 gusts KO here? Probably. I think debuffed, definitely. Non-debuffed, maybe. So I think if I just save the shields for Pidgeot, I probably win that game. A bit of a throw by me, you could argue, but it was a bit of a tough alignment. So GG, well played by the opponent with the Shadow Golurk user. Very cool Pokemon. We did a Shadow Golurk video relatively recently, I think. That's always a fan favorite as well. Next battle. Okay. It's going to be an amazing lead for Drapion into Cresselia. You don't see Cresselia too often these days. In comes Azumarill. And once again, we don't have an obvious answer, so we're going to look to chip and then go into our own. We land the Crunch. We swap our own. And this will help us secure the secondary matchup. We've basically put their Azumarill into double Play Rough range versus they're going to need 3 Play Roughs. And they hit us with an Ice Beam, which tells me they're probably running Hydro Pump. Which they probably should have Hydro Pumped our Azu, to be honest. Like, Hydro Pump is going to be a lot more efficient there than Ice Beam. But I guess they wanted to save more energy, perhaps. And I am going to throw the Play Rough here. Now, here, I decide to actually stay in for a little bit. And the reason is I didn't want to swap Drapion in just for it to get Moon Blasted. So I kind of wanted to lure Cresselia into throwing energy before I exit here. They Grass Knot us, then we switch, and now we actually get off the Crunch before they can even get off, we get off the Crunch before they can get off a Moonblast. Drapion going to knock out Cresselia. In comes Azumarill. They had a ton of energy, so I do respect the potential Hydro Pump here. Just an Ice Beam, and you can tell they were at like 100 because they Ice Beam again after 1 bubble. So I'm going to take this one knowing that it's just an Ice Beam. In comes Electrode, and I'm like, oh no, dude, are we about to lose this? So I Aqua Tail bait here, And then I swapped straight into Pidgeot thinking, okay, at least he has to debuff himself. So I'm thinking like I'm going to force him to debuff himself with Wild Charge, and then my stings will do a lot. But I also remember I have a ton of energy on Azu. I just wasn't sure how much exactly. I do have a ton of energy on Azu banked. And I'm like, okay, well, I can get this off. And then I do have a little bit of energy on Drapion, so maybe I'm going to be okay here. I get the final Protect Shield, and I don't think he remembered quite how much energy I had. So we do actually knock out the Electrode here. But, dude, this freaking Electrode scared me in the end. Swap Drapion to Sting down faster than we can Bubble down. And that is a G to the G. I think we're 3-1 here in this first set. See if we can cap it off with a 4-1. Next battle. Who's it going to be? Trying to get over that 3,000 Elo rank again. A little bit of a yo-yo, a roller coaster with our Elo in this latter part of the season. All the way up to 3,500, back down below 3,000. See if we can climb back up a little bit. Here we go. Classic Drapion versus Feraligatr matchup. We are going to go for the Aquatail bait here, dude. There was a point where I baited Aquatail so many times in a row, and they called it so many times in a row. It was crazy, dude. This is, like, so bad if you don't shield Crunch as well. If you don't shield Crunch, you just get farmed down. And so many people just call it. It's crazy. Then they catch. So they're making me look like a silly goose right now. They're embarrassing me. They're embarrassing me in front of my YouTube audience, making me look silly. They call the Aquatail bait. They catch the Crunch. But we're not going to give up. We're going to go for the Aquatail here. We did get that debuff, which is helpful. And I'm going to shield this. And if this is an Earthquake, I mean, I can overfarm quite a bit. I can overfarm quite significantly. I go before a potential Stone Edge. Going to throw the Aquatail here. They're just going to let it go. And I'm going to bait Aquatail on this Gator, who is now at the Hydro Cannon, and then look to do a couple more, and I catch, knowing he kind of had to throw before the next Aquatail. So a little bit of just a call there. Although this is going to give him the opportunity to overfarm a lot. So he's at maybe like 9. So 1 off the next. And I actually decide to Ice Beam immediately, saying, oh, great, I'm going to force you to use that Protect Shield if you want to save this energy on Gator. And that's exactly what he does. Uses the final shield to save the energy on Gator. And that bubble that snuck through, is that going to be enough to knock out? Because this Hydro Cannon did not knock out, and look at that. We actually swap in Drapion, but here's the thing. We're 2 stings away. Are we going to get off this next Aquatail? Technically, we're not supposed to, but this is the inconsistent damage registration error. And this is going to win us the game. Probably should have lost that one, if I'm being completely honest, because I think even though we had a fully healthy Pidgeot, like, if they managed their energy perfectly, maybe they could have done, like, 2 Incinerates, Brave Bird, 1-shot, Fly, knock out Azu, and win. So I think we probably should have lost that game, if I'm being honest, if not for the damage registration error. If you don't know what that is, I'll explain it. And if you understand, great. If you don't, I'm sorry. But basically, the damage is supposed to register on the final turn. So if you do a 2-turn fast attack against a 3-turn fast attack, technically, if I do 1 Mud Shot, for example, against 1 Bubble, and I reach the charge attack after 1 Mud Shot, that Bubble damage should register and knock me out before I get off that charge attack. That was the example there of the damage registration error, where the charge attack took precedent over the damage registration error. I'm a dork, I know. Drapion into Goodra. Here we go. Goodra, a little bit of a menace. I kind of found out if we can't manage it with the Drapion, like if they're willing to double shield it, it becomes a little bit of an issue because we don't really have a great way of dealing with it. In terms of like fast attack pressure, because it has an ability to really threaten everything on our team. It threatens our Drapion with its fast attack pressure, and then it has the Thunder Punch pressure for both of our back Pokemon. So once we get both shields, we pivot into Az. We don't want to just let it farm down Drapion Man, I could have just Ice Beamed it, but, like, he also could have caught the Ice Beam there. So, really annoying. Like, he very well could have just caught the Ice Beam, so... we can't really blame ourselves there for not just throwing it instantly. Play rough coming through in this Azumir. And this is looking really difficult, honestly, because the Pidgeot is going to be shieldless against that Goodra, which has saved energy. So I think we're in a pretty tough-looking situation here. I decide to... oh. Do I shield? No, I don't. Goodra comes back. Okay, Goodra's at least forced to throw, and I guess I'm hoping at this point maybe I can gust down, come out with energy, and if it's something that's like weak to flying in the back, maybe Pidgeot can sweep here. That's kind of my only win condition at this point. We do shield the Thunder Punch, but the problem here is Azu still has some energy. What's going to be the final Pokemon? It's going to be Cresselia, which is a really good matchup, but unfortunately Cresselia is just too bulky, where a Brave Bird is not going to be enough. So that's why you're seeing me Feather Dance here. Hoping, like, they stay in, I live a Power Gem, get more farm. I don't know. We're just kind of trying to maneuver our way. I do another Feather Dance here, like, hoping I could, like, live an Ice Beam, farm all the way down. We're just trying to, like, pull something out of nothing. But, yeah, just Pidgeot going to get out-bulked here. And that's kind of the pros and cons, right, of running a really glassy Pokemon like Pidgeot. We also had some fun with Shadow Primeape as well recently on stream. You have games where it just goes crazy behind shields and pulls off wins that are seemingly impossible, but also games where you just kind of get out-bulked and it's very difficult to use. We're going up against our friend Drayflames here. Drapion versus Drapion. I think this might be the second consecutive video where Drayflames is an opponent. Drapion Mir. We are going to lose the Chart Attack priority. And we are going to keep on farming here, knowing that we lose it. He actually tries to make the catch, which is going to benefit me here because I can utilize this energy from Drapion on the Gator. I do get the debuff as well. I still have a lot of energy, so I'm actually willing to use a Protect Shield here. Get off this next Crunch. If he doesn't shield this Gator, it's pretty much going to go down. And that's what happens. You saw me expecting him to shield, and I was going to swap into Azu, but no, he actually just let it go. And in comes his own Azu. I decided to bank... oh, no, I don't. Interesting. I guess in the moment, I was thinking the safest play is just to let Drapion go down, get Azu on Azu, get Pidgeot on the remaining health of Drapion, and that would be like smooth sailing, because we do enough chip with the Drapion to get this into like double play rough range, so these Azus can pretty much neutralize each other. And because the opposing Drapion already took an Aqua Tail, I was thinking we should be in a pretty good spot. They're going to see me get super greedy here. I lost track of energy apparently, and I remember I like super unnecessarily overfarm here. Like, what is the actual point? What is this overfarm doing for me? Nothing at all. So I'm basically just trying to throw this game, apparently. No reason in the world to overfarm, but I'm doing it. And we're going to pivot out immediately here. And I figure my only lose con would be like him crunching, me getting debuffed, and then him landing another crunch. So we are going to no-shield the first one, knowing Pidgeot is at least bulky enough to take one crunch, and then gust all the way down. Good game there. On to the next. Who's it gonna be? But yeah, nice, really nice stretch, a really nice day we had with this Pidgeot team. We had 4 consecutive positive sets with this team. Drapion into, oh, look at that, a Pidgeot. What a man of culture. We're just gonna crunch here as soon as we can. Proper timing, nothing fancy. Pidgeot gusting away. Swaps into Guzzlord after going down a shield. I mean, this is a great looking situation for us. Guzzlord, of course, does have Sludge Bomb now, so Sludge Bomb is going to do some decent damage to Azumarill. As you see, does a little bit less than half. And we are going to build up energy, go for the Play Rough. Since Ice Beam wouldn't quite one-shot, Play Rough definitely will one-shot since it's double super effective. Bang! Bye-bye, Guzzlord. I'm really surprised Pidgeot comes back, and also surprised that they don't fire Brave Bird. Perhaps they weren't sure if it would knock out, but I think it definitely would knock out from that range. And they are going to be forced to Brave Bird me here. An Aerial Ace wouldn't knock out. A Feather Dance wouldn't knock out. I know one Gust will definitely knock out, so I'm going to come in with my own Pidgeot, get a head start. And they just let me farm down. So a really, a really weird game. Their team didn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't know if they're like doing some sort of challenge, auto-wrecked, or if maybe they just caught a bad composition. I don't know, but we'll take it. We'll take it. I like getting those easy games. Here we go. Next opponent, Drapion into Jumpluff, Shadow Jumpluff. We've got a couple of good answers for Jumpluff, so pretty good lead for us. I think our opponent lagged a couple of turns at the start, so unfortunate for them. Crunch coming through. Drapion just a little bit more menacing here against the Shadow. I do actually decide to respect the potential acrobatics here just in case, and look at that. Good thing we shielded. In comes Licky. And I think I make a questionable play here, as you're going to see. I build up. Oh, never mind. I'm crunching again. I do one, and then I catch, and I get a Gust through, which is pretty nice. But I was hoping to catch like an Earthquake here. I was hoping to catch an Earthquake, but who knows? Maybe they're not even running Earthquake. And in doing this, now I give him the opportunity to get off triple Body Slam against my Pidgeot. So I'm going to allow him to take back Switch, which isn't ideal. But I guess the other part of me was thinking with a Jumpluff lead, I bet whatever's in the back probably beats Pidgeot anyway. So that was also kind of what I was thinking. Maybe we can just get away with sacrificing Pidgeot. And we were kind of right. Ended up being a Dunsparce. And we're going to be able to utilize this energy on Drapion. And since he switch locked himself, I can swap in Azu here. Now I'm feeling really good about this situation, since Azu can just kind of soak all this damage from Dunsparce. And hopefully our Drapion can close out this game behind that Protect Shield we have remaining. Another Drill Run coming through. And just going to fire off this Ice Beam. If we get rid of this Dunsparce, I think we're kind of smooth sailing. They do invest the final Protect Shield in Dunsparce, and I get this off. Totally fine losing this CMP. As long as we get rid of Dunsparce, very confident in Drapion to close out this game. If they had caught this Ice Beam on their Licky, that actually could have potentially won them this game. But now I'm just going to build up to 2 Aqua Tails. I figure Aqua Tails should be about enough to knock out Jumpluff from this range. And even if they caught it right, I would have another one back to back. Drapion looking scary as per usual. Gets us another win. And let's see if we can close out this set with another good battle. I think we got one more to wrap up the video. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Make sure to follow me on Twitch. If you are not, I plan on streaming a watch party for a good portion of the European International Championships this weekend. Unfortunately, not going. Going to have a ton of FOMO not being there. But I did get to go to the Latin American International Championships earlier this season in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and that was a ton of fun. So not as many people made the journey over there. It seems like everyone's going to London. So I'm not. I did get to go there last year, and I went there for Worlds in 2022. So I've been there twice over the past 4 years, and maybe I will plan on going back next year. Maybe it'll be like an every other year type of thing for me. But here we go. In this final matchup, our opponent makes a nice play. They actually snipe our Drapion with this Ferrothorn, and they save the energy on. On Dragonite. But what they do allow us here is allow us to position our Pidgeot to get rid of this Ferrothorn and allow our Azu to avoid it. So now I'm gonna switch. And hoping that he expends the energy here, which he does. We don't yet know what's in the back. Dragon Claw. Really surprised the Dragon Claw's here. And dude, he's double weak to Azu. ABA weak. So when you're ABA weak to something, you can't really afford to give up Switch like that, in my opinion. But now Talonflame is going to struggle here to knock out Azumarill. And I think the Talon is still one away, right? Talon is still 1 away. And I get a 2 bubble down. Have the Ice Beam loaded. And this, of course, is going to knock out the Shadow Dragonite. Securing us what I believe to be back-to-back 4-1 sets with this team. This Shadow Pidgeot squad put in a lot of work for me the other day. And was fun to use as well. We saw Dugong was a little bit of an issue. But overall, I had a lot of fun running this team. And Shadow Pidgeot, is it the truth? Let me know in the comments. Shadow Pidgeot can certainly put in a lot of work in the right situations. We didn't see too many Feraligators in these sets that you saw, but one cool thing about Shadow Pidgeot is you can just like 2-shield farm down Shadow Feraligator, and then all that energy typically goes pretty far for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. If you are new around here, comment down below. All comments are appreciated. And all of that said, thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.